Hey, everybody. Appreciate y'all coming in tonight. I do want to say thanks, everybody, for this morning coming in, hanging out with me, and also yesterday. Uh, I won't be going live in the morning until Wednesday, so when I'm on my way back to work. And also, uh, let's see, next weekend, me and my dad are going back to Daniel Boone's parents' grave to investigate, and we also are going to have a guest with me. My wife is supposed to be going with me. I don't know yet, but she hadn't said for sure she will be, but we're going to try to get her to go with us. And also, September the 7th, we are going to have our group cookout. I will be going live during the day and at night. We're going to investigate the Trivette Clinic again. And hopefully that we can get some stuff happening there. So let's see who we got right quick. Hey, Shaw Woman, how you doing? Appreciate you coming in. Also, Robin, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Saying hey, and also May, thank you, one of my channel members. Appreciate you. Uh, Ava, how you doing? Appreciate you coming in. Also, Bud Files, appreciate you. So tonight, y'all, I do have a very special guest, one of my favorite guests that I've had so far on the channel, and uh, he goes by Shadow, and is also a awesome investigator. I've watched a lot of his shows and stuff, and seen a lot of things. And him and Neil, they used to go out and do some investigation, and they both are really good. One of these days, we'll get them both up here and talk about some stuff. But other than that, here he is. He is waiting patiently. Here we go. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, pretty good, I guess. So, let's see. Tell us a little bit about yourself, bud, and how you got into the paranormal stuff.
Well, like most people, you come across some strange books or stories, and you hear somebody tell urban legend about the ghost in the woods or something along those lines. And as I got older, that kind of curiosity just became more and more. And there was a period where I did get involved with something that I shouldn't have. Mostly the darker stuff. I got into just about any kind of occult trend at that time, and it wasn't something that like, oh, I'm just going to do this just to be different or be cool. And I actually tried to learn as much as I could about it, and things go sideways after a while, and oh gosh, it's been. See, I've been married for 14 years this year, and I lived in Louisiana for 8 years when I was trying to get my life right. So, yeah, almost 23 years ago is when things came to a head, and I found out that I had something attached to me.
Oh.
And the church I went to, it was a fairly well-known church, and these people were, in my experience, these people come off as genuine, believers in their faith. The woman tried to reach out and put her hands on me to pray for me, but her reaction is still bugged me today. But her reaction was that she stopped and pulled her hand back and put her hand down to her side, and she looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You have a darkness about you." And it took months of just, praying, trying to change the way I think, change certain aspects of my life, walk away from things. But it never really goes away. And at least not some of the lingering effect. And I don't mean that I still have an attachment, but I'd like to think of it more as scars that still bleed, so to speak. And about 6-7 years ago, I ran into Thomas Wachowski, and we just got to talking about the paranormal, and I told him that I was definitely into it, and we got together and investigated a cemetery. And what a lot of times you hear a different mix of people's first experiences, and mine is just weird. When we first got to the cemetery, all we had was an audio recorder and cheap $5 flashlight from Walmart.
Yeah.
And we're in the cemetery. Now, the cemetery had veterans from the War of 1862, I believe, 1812 or 1862, one of the earlier wars,
Yeah.
buried there, as well as soldiers from the Civil War and every war since. And we're out there walking around pitch black. We don't have our night vision cameras yet. And we started doing an EVP session. And at that time, we didn't get anything. At least we didn't think we did. Mm-hmm. And then my flashlight started getting real hot, real fast. And I'm thinking, okay, something's going to happen. So I tell Tom, let's get in the car. Let's just get out of here. I don't want to have this thing blow up on cemetery property because, I'm trying to be respectful. And as soon as we got past the cemetery gate, the flashlight started to cool down. Weirdest thing. Now, it wouldn't be until like a couple months later that I actually went back and reviewed the audio. And you can hear me and Tom asking questions, and you can hear that we're not saying anything afterward because we don't hear anything. But in the background, it's old-timey music playing. The old-timey, I'm talking like the kind of piano you hear in the saloons in the late 1800s and early 1900s.
Yeah.
Ragtime. That kind of music. And it just kept getting louder and louder and louder. But Tom and I didn't hear anything. Now, keep in mind, these audio recorders are not set up to receive any kind of radio waves.
Yeah.
And yeah, ever since, I've been investigating, been doing podcasts, been doing research. And, you learn something new.
Yeah. Hey there, Baker. How you doing, buddy? Appreciate you coming in. We are doing pretty good. So what are we going to be talking about tonight? Tell us a little bit about the software for how to enhance your pictures and stuff like that. Yeah. How we can actually use it for the paranormal.
Right. So I'm going to get it launched here, and then I'll let you know when I got the screen share ready. All right. So one of the biggest problems that people have when it comes to reviewing the evidence is they try to go for these softwares that are just they're very they have a high learning curve, which a lot of times intimidates a lot of people, and understandably so. But I found that with this one in particular, and this is a great app because it's made by such a well-known company.
Yeah.
And that is Adobe Photoshop Express. Now, you don't have to worry about, in fact, I'm going to use one of the first pictures that you sent. There we go. All right. I'm going to come back over here and do a screen share. Now, the nice thing is that you don't have to pay for this. This is a completely free app. It's Adobe Photoshop Express. And it's a very streamlined app. And what I like about it is that it keeps everything simple, but gives you very powerful results.
Yeah.
Let's see, where am I at here?
Hey there, Winter Homestead. Appreciate you coming in. Thank you also for coming in. I appreciate you also. Sorry, all right, let's see. Here we go. All right.
So again, this is Adobe Photoshop Express. And you're going to see just how easy and simple this thing really is. So this is the picture that you sent me.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of people can barely see what's going on inside that circle.
Yeah.
So when you told me about this, one of the first things I did is I go down into the setting tab, then I would adjust the exposure. Now, right at the bottom, you'll see that it has a little slider, and this is where you can adjust how much exposure. And as I bring the exposure up, you can already see that there's something here.
Yeah.
Now, this is just one step. The next thing I would normally do would be go to the contrast section and then play around with the contrast, because as you can see, you
That,
know,
no.
yeah,
It looks more like a clown face.
yeah. You know, now I will say when you're working with this app, you don't want to go full blast on everything. You kind of want to go around, because sometimes the details disappear if you get too crazy with your setting.
Yeah.
All right, so pop the setting back out, and let's go look at let's see. I'm trying to remember where exactly. Detail. So after you do your exposures and contrast adjustment, you definitely want to go to your details and click on sharpen. And this is where you kind of want to be careful, because if your viewers may not see this too well, but if you go all the way on the sharpen, you start to get digital artifact that can be problematic.
Yeah.
So you always kind of start off low and just gradually work your way up until you get to the right sharpness. Now, this is just 3 things that I did, less than 5 minutes, and you can already see the difference.
Yeah.
So again, Adobe Photoshop Express. It's completely free. You can download it on your phone. So if you're taking pictures with your phone, you can edit those images right there on the spot. Or you can download it onto your laptop, desktop, tablet.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is, in my opinion, from everything that I've used so far, Adobe Photoshop Express is a must-have for any paranormal investigators, especially if you don't have a lot of technical knowledge to use the bigger programs. This is where you want to go.
Hey there, Face. How you doing? Hey, PW. Appreciate you coming in also. Thank you so much. Yeah. So, do you? Is that like HD or?
Yeah, you can work. Yeah, you can work 4K images.
Yeah.
It's just there are certain features that require, that you pay, which all those features, as a paranormal investigator, you're not going to need.
Yeah.
Everything you need is right here in the very basic setup for Adobe Photoshop Express.
Okay. All right. So you can go like on the Google Play Store or Play Store, whatever it is, on the phone, and just okay.
Yeah, remember, it's Adobe Photoshop Express.
Okay. Do you have a logo? What it looks like?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay.
But what I can do is actually after the show, I will send you the link, and you can put that link up on your page, and that way people can just click on it and go right to it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All righty. So, I mean, you did say it's pretty much free, just pretty much basic and everything like that. So, I'll be checking it out for sure.
Yeah, and like I said, because of its versatility, that you can download it onto your phone. You take a picture, and say you're doing a live, somebody said, "Yeah, I think I saw a face." You can just get that screenshot on your phone, open it up in Photoshop Express, and boom, you're already on your way to, either confirming or debunking what you may or may not have seen.
Yeah. That's very interesting right there. I'd like to be messing around with that because I got a few that lives in the clinic, and that one you can actually see a face over top of Austin's
Yeah.
head. And I just like to have it brought out just a little bit more because he used a red light that night in there, and that's all you can see is red light.
Yeah.
But you can actually see the face of a man's head on the wall just right behind him. And it's like blue, blackish color and stuff. But it was really wild. That was crazy.
So yeah.
Hey Sam, how you doing, buddy? Appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much. Yeah. So anything else you want to share with us?
Well, I mean, as far as being a paranormal investigator, there are a few things that I feel get lost in the conversation a lot of times. One of those is, as a serious investigator, even if you're not serious, as an investigator, if you're going to portray yourself as being open-minded, then you have to be aware of the fact that every once in a while you could be wrong.
No.
And also be aware of the fact that sometimes there are some things that are just unexplainable. It doesn't mean that they are paranormal. It doesn't mean that they're not paranormal.
Yeah.
All it is just that there's not enough data or information to be able to formulate a solid opinion or position on whether it's the paranormal or not.
Yeah.
And there's been a few times where I was on an investigation and got some stuff, and I thought, man, I got something good here.
Yeah.
And then I had somebody else look at it and go, well, you got to think about this. Now, well, what's this going on at the same time this is happening? Excuse me. And, that's the kind of critical thinking and critiquing that we need to be able to exchange between paranormal investigators. Otherwise, everything we say or do ends up just being wasted because there's not enough, backbone to what we're trying to do to support it.
Yeah. Hello, Auntie Mama. How you doing, Auntie? How you doing? Appreciate you coming in. If anybody wants to have a good morning pick me up, go to her channel and she will get you right up there. If you throw some eyeballs in there, she knows that you're from my channel and you're there to confiscate her coffee. She is very fun to hang out in her chat and make you laugh and everything. So if you're having a bad morning, you go to her channel in the mornings, it'll change right quick.
Well, food is important to paranormal investigation too.
Yeah.
Because there are some foods you do not want to eat because sometimes, things happen. First you say it, then you do it.
Yeah.
Ouch! Shit.
I can't
eating
eat.
the right food can kind of help minimize the damage on that.
I can't eat before I go to investigate because every time I do, you hear a line back there behind me somewhere, like I don't eat a line, and it just messes up my mindset or something other. So,
well, who knows? Maybe someday, if you go to the right town and you get like an old abandoned mine and you find that one cranky, crotchety ghost of an old miner, maybe you can kind of have a farting contest.
Yeah. It's something else there. I remember we went to the sanatorium with my cousin that time. The first time I went, it was quiet. You can hear the pin drop in 2 states over.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, you hear this growl, and it was me. My belly it was roaring the floor. I was growling so much. I thought, good night. I just got up and walked outside. I couldn't stay in there and mess everybody up.
Right. So, but, at the same time, though, there is a surprising amount of data that point to um, heightened senses when you fast.
Yeah.
So it's not so much that you want to bring yourself to the point of absolute hunger,
Yeah.
but you certainly want to, in a manner of speaking, detox your body from certain things that could be interfering with your investigation. Because you and I were talking earlier about, sometimes ghosts can just pick up on people's vibes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always mean that the person is a bad person, because sometimes, we get caught up in things in our own life. We have stress, we have worry.
Yeah.
And that kind of negative thinking can project a negative field of, a negative energy. So when you eat right, when you fast, when you take some downtime to clear your head, or, some people like to just go fishing and just lose themselves in the moment.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, what you're doing is you're rebalancing your vibe. And I think that's another thing that a lot of investigators just overlook. They keep letting all this dark, negative stuff just build up and build up and build up. And next thing you know, either you're not getting any evidence at all, or all you're attracting is like really bad juju.
Yeah. Like when your mind is just relaxed, you're grounding your body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, when Neil was on here, we was talking about a few things, and I was asking him a question about what we should take to investigations, and we named off a bunch of stuff, and we also talk about medication. I'm not talking about like the hard drugs, nothing like it. Like some people will go and do doctor prescription drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that when somebody goes doing paranormal investigation and then they'll start, like, I'm going to say, like, start smoking or start shooting up or doing some kind of hard stuff, that really affects your spirit stuff, right? I mean, you wouldn't want to go out there and be done drunk like 10 beers and stuff like that.
Right. Okay, so historically speaking, it was not uncommon to use substances to help usher in a more focused mindset,
Yeah.
one that makes you more open to the supernatural. But there's a problem when you have these people that are taking it to such extremes that, they get wasted, or they become so disconnected that, no matter how hard they tried, they can't make that connection with the spirit to be able to get any kind of interaction or evidence. I myself, I'm an advocate for cannabis, but I believe that there has to be, limit. There has to be, some sort of accountability, as well as the awareness of the possibility that while you might be able to open your mind up to a lot of things, the problem with using drugs to do this is that it tends to, if you're not careful, it'll turn off whatever defenses you might have.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you may be more open to the supernatural. You may be able to receive more, see more. But now, everything else has an easier access to either, interact with you in a negative way, attach you, or in some, worst case scenario, possess you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely do not think that being loaded on an investigation is a smart thing to do, period. Yeah. Just no, and this isn't a personal opinion. This is just, there are certain basic facts and truths that you just cannot shake off.
Yeah, I was, because I've run into that problem before, and it didn't work out too good. It just messed up the whole investigation to me. Because after I seen that, and I thought, is these people having paranormal problems, or they just got so messed up in their head, they just thinking they're seeing stuff.
Yeah.
So and when I'm going in there to investigate, it kind of give me the wishy washy,
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Wendy girl, appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much.
Now, I will say, on the flip side of that, I totally understand why some people might need it to be able to calm down.
Yeah.
Or, to take the edge off the anxiety, because, heightened anxiety is another danger area that we have to be careful of, because sometimes your anxiety will just feed whatever negative entity may be there.
Yeah.
So, again, that's such a tricky area. You're either going to use it to help you level out and investigate effectively, or you're going to cross the line and whatever evidence you do get is now in question.
Yeah. Hey, let's see here. When your mind has a lot of going on, spirits try to attach themselves to your sensitive. When it comes to the paranormal, you have to be in the right mindset. That's what I always said. It's kind of hard to do that because, like I said, when I went to this one, I ain't gonna say what, but it was a private location, and that's what happened. And then ever since then, I have a kind of mixed feelings. Is it really paranormal, or are they just doing that stuff and then making their mind? Because to me, I think if you're doing paranormal, you got to be on your games of toes, because anything can happen. That's just me. Anything can really happen. You can get attachment, something enter your body or whatever. Because I think the spirits see a crack in your mind or something, and it'll mess with you.
Well, when I start after I met Tom Kwiatkowski, several months later I ran into Neil, and we formed our group Night Watch. I disbanded the group a while back, but Neil and I have talked, and we've thought about maybe bringing it back. We're not entirely sure yet. But we came up with the 5 basic rules. And this was non-negotiable if anybody wanted to investigate with us. Yeah. There was one that did have a little flexibility, because we couldn't force somebody to, go against what they believe.
Yeah.
But the 5 basic rules were, number 1, respect. Respect the living, respect the dead, no matter what.
Yeah.
Number 2, respect the location. And the reason why we say this is because we've gone on some investigations and we found some amazing locations, but they've been vandalized. There's trash everywhere.
Yeah.
It really sad, whether you're a paranormal investigator, a historian, or it should bother you that it's in your community, that somebody's doing this to a beautiful place.
Yeah.
So yeah, rule number 2, respect the location. Rule number 3, no conjuring, no summoning. Now, the reason why we say that is because the whole point of what we do as an investigation at somebody's location is to try to get evidence of what's already there. We don't need to bring something over to make evidence. So if they're say like the Whaley House, if you are any level of paranormal enthusiast, you've heard of the Whaley House. If you're going there to find the spirit of John Whaley, you're going to go there with the assumption that he's already there. You don't need to summon him. You don't need to conjure him. You don't have to do a ritual. If he's there, he's there. So that's why we have that rule. We didn't want to have outside influences with our evidence. Rule number 4, no running. And I say that only because I myself, I am a klutz. I'm almost 6'2". I weigh 270 pounds. The last thing you want is this big, freakish Viking-looking dude hauling ass in pitch black, and you're in his way.
Yeah.
Because I break shit. So yeah, no running. I know things may be intense, but this is important, and it's connected with rule number 5, which is never investigate alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's one thing if you're in a group and you're at a location and you go off to a certain spot by yourself, isolation, that's fine. But never just go off to some random location by yourself without telling anybody. Because if anything happens, you're screwed. Whether it's paranormal or some homeless guy who's not on his meds, whatever. And that's a real danger, because Thomas and I, we've had that happen. We were in Anoka, Minnesota, which was the site of an insane asylum that had been repurposed to house a homeless veteran. And this one particular veteran was not on his medication. He had been drinking heavily. And he approached us and basically told us that if we didn't walk, they were going to find our bodies in the river.
Yeah.
And 2 problems. 1, Thomas can't defend himself. And 2, even if I didn't have all my gear on top of me, I didn't stand a chance a guy a veteran. This guy is a trained killer. So I would be an idiot to try to, face him.
Yeah.
So that's why I say never investigate alone, because you don't know what's going to happen out there.
Yeah. Let me say hey to a few people that just came in. Darcia, I appreciate you also coming in. I've seen another one up here, somewhere around here. Right there it is. Appreciate you coming so much. Also, Vicky. Appreciate you, Vicky. Thank you so much. There he is, Jerry Talks. How you doing, buddy? Appreciate you so much coming in, too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Here's another one that just came in. I appreciate you so much also. Thank you, each and every one of you. This is Shadow. He is a really good guy, really good friend.
Well, the good guy is debatable.
Debatable. But like I said, he's very interesting. I have had him on my show before, and also he gives us some good tips tonight, especially on the photos, because after I sent him that photo the other night and he sent it back to me, I guess the next day?
Yeah.
He tinkered with it a little bit, and oh God, you talking about got little goosebumps on your arms jumping up and making babies with another one. It's kind of strange how how you get something over there that you've seen forever, and then you take it, put it in that thing, and it comes out different.
Yeah. Well, you got those other pictures. You have the first one, and then the one that where I did the enhancement on it.
This one right here. Like that one right there?
Yeah. Yeah, now, for any of you that are watching this, you can kind of see what's going on. But after those 3 or 4 steps that I did in Adobe Photoshop Express, the result was very surprising.
And there it is. You can see the eyes, you can see the head, and if you look close enough, you'll see like it's sitting on the body.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just different. And this is the other one. You see that?
Yep.
Eyes. And check it out now.
Yeah, Adobe Photoshop Express. It's surprisingly powerful for being a free app.
So it was really, really, really interesting. And I appreciate you giving us a walk through that and stuff like that. It shows how we can actually use that as a paranormal tool.
Yep.
Let's see here. Sam said, I see the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
PW said, I'm still thinking Johnson found the Banshee. You can't change my mind.
Could well be.
Yeah.
Especially after that audio that you asked me to enhance.
Yeah, that was really crazy. Are these the ones Spirit Brothers? Yes, that is the ones that the Spirit Brothers caught for me. Uh, like I said, it was really, really crazy that night. Let's see here. So I didn't even download that Scream on here. Matter of fact,
I think
I forgot it. I mean, I got mine on there, but not what you enhanced for me.
because if you actually download it off your messenger, which is I think where I sent it to you,
Yeah.
save it somewhere on your desktop, then you can upload it into StreamYard, because they're both barely 30 seconds, so they shouldn't take long to download or upload.
Yeah.
But while you're doing that, I mean, I can just tell. So, if once we get this going here, Jonathan's going to play a video of it's a very short clip, but the original you really couldn't hear too much. So what you're going to hear tonight is the actually enhanced version of it. So the comment about thinking that you may have found a banshee, this video might actually kind of put a little bit more validity to that.
Just give me 1 second here. It's taking its good old time.
Is it uploading though?
Yeah, it's I just saved it to myself, and now I'm going to well, take me off there. Y'all ain't ready for 2 of me yet. Come on, phone. There we go. Let's see.
Ooh, I know something. While you're working on that, I can tell everybody about how Thomas got oral from a ghost.
Yeah.
And it's pretty bizarre. Mm-hmm. So the first big investigation as Night Watch, myself, Thomas, and I, we reached out to a few other people, and we had set up a collaborative night at Palmer House Hotel. And this is another big location, especially for those of you who are fans of Ghost Adventures. They were here. So we get there. We're in Lucy's room, and Lucy is the woman who is reportedly to have been the lady of the evening that committed suicide there. And the lights are on. One of the investigators that joined us, her name is Harley Black. She was on the other side of the bed, setting up her SLS camera. And I have my night vision set up, and Neil is just getting his camera started and ready. And we're on the opposite side of the bed. Now, Thomas is sitting in a chair at the foot of the bed, minding his own business. And all of a sudden, Harley gets this weird look on her face, and she waved me over. And I go over there, and I look at the screen, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Tom, you feel anything? And he just had this he had this like deer in the headlight look on his face. No, why? And I said, because on the SLS, there is the stick figure on his knee giving you oral. No bullshit. Right there. And I got to get a hold of Harley and see if she still has that video, because it is one of the weirdest things you will come across as far as paranormal stories go.
Yeah, I think I might have it right here. Let me get it downloaded on StreamYard here.
All right.
And there's one 2 minutes, and there's one for 3 minutes. All right, so let me get off of there. All right, now this is let's see. This is when we was on the bridge itself, on the bridge.
What in the hell was that?
That was the first one, but I really like the second one the best.
Yeah.
I think you can hear it much better on the second one.
Now tell everybody what happened when you heard that on the second one.
I kind of got a little scared. That's all I can tell you. But when you just got it just to to that, just that little 2 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
I think that was more frightening than anything. You know, I mean, it's just I don't know how to explain it.
I get it because, I told you about my experience at an old abandoned cemetery that I found, and I was setting up my SLS, and I had my night vision on my right, and I was going to do a session at a headstone, and my laptop started making weird noises, so I started wrapping everything up, and I turned to grab my night vision camera, but instead of the camera pointing at the headstone, it had somehow turned on the tripod and pointed at me. At that point, I just grabbed all my shit, threw it in the back of the truck, and just met up with everybody else. He's like, nope, not doing this.
Yeah. PW said, I never seen Jonathan get in the cars so fast when he.
Well, I mean, you're out in the wild, too. I mean, so part of that is that, that natural reaction of the possibility of a wild animal, because I live in Minnesota, and some of the places I go to are like that. I'm more afraid of, like, the ornery little raccoons, or, in Minnesota, we have wolves and bears.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Ghost or animal, ain't sticking around to find out.
Hey, I bring it today. Appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much. If y'all want to see some good eating channel, she does have a good cooking on her channel and crochet and all at the same time. So if you watch her show, it'll make you hungry. She'll give you a step by step how to cook it too. But I love to go watch her show. She is very talented in cooking and crocheting and everything else. But yeah, we was out there in pitch dark. I mean, if I was to cut my light off, you wouldn't see nothing, and your eyes will be just like focusing, get back where you see in nighttime, and your eyeballs just playing tricks on you. You don't know what you're seeing there. And if I was to cut my light off and that thing bellered out like that, oh my God, you'll make your babies born naked.
Yeah. Well, these are some of the things we deal with as investigators,
Yeah.
You want to get the truth.
I investigated some years ago, and a lady was singing in the woods somewhere around the location. It was midnight. We quickly left life. Like I always said, though, I don't normally get scared, but that night I wasn't expecting anything like that. You know what I'm saying? It was just out of blues. Now, the first one really scared me, but the second one sounded like it was standing there beside of me. And that's, so, I don't know.
Neil can, next time, if we can get him on, he can tell you his reaction when we were at a place called Colfax Cemetery, and it's on the corner of one of the roads, which is called Timberlake Road, and this is supposed to be one of the most haunted roads in Minnesota. And so we're in the cemetery, and I'm clicking away on my camera, just flash going off everywhere, and I'm sure I'm pissing off, both the ghosts and the people that live across the street. Yeah. But I don't even think there was anybody at the cross the street, because this is like way the fuck out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm clicking away, and I'm going through the pictures, and you know how sometimes you can kind of like feel somebody's jacket just brush up against you lightly.
Mm-hmm.
If when they get close to you and look at, I swear it was Neil. So I'm sitting there just babbling away. Yeah, dude, you need to check this out. Now, what is that? Okay, I'm not sure what that. Maybe you can tell me what this is. Now, the whole time I'm talking, there's nobody here. Neil is about 30 feet on the other side of the truck. And I'm like, when I didn't get a response, I was like, Neil? Still nothing. So I say it loud, Neil? Yeah. Shit. And I turn on my flashlight. I'm looking all around me. I got my night vision camera on. I'm thinking, like, what the hell was just right next to me?
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are the moments that, if you have them, should make you curious about the paranormal.
Oh yeah. My first investigation was at the Trivet Clinic. Me, my cousin, and my other cousin was in this room upstairs, and this is my very, very first investigation. I've never been on one in my life, and this is my team's very first investigation. And I was just standing in the doorway. Needless to say, I learned do not stand in the doorway. My cousin was sitting on the day bed in this room, and my other cousin sitting on a little stool. And I know she couldn't get up out of the floor because when she was sitting down, I shined a flashlight over there so she can see the stool. Her kneecaps was past her head. I mean, that's how low she was sitting on that stool on the ground.
Right.
And I was standing in the doorway, and my cousin sitting on the day bed. She said, "I got to get something out of my bag." And we left everything sitting out in the hallway in this chair. And she told me, said, "We step out of the way a minute so I can walk out." I said, "Okay, yeah, I will." And I kept looking around out the side of the door, looking out down the hallway, down the steps. Because if you look down at the end where you go down the steps, that's where the operating room was at. So I was looking out there like it and everything. Then she went back and sat down on the day bed. I just stood back in the doorway, and just as soon as I stood back, something brushed against my leg.
Mm-hmm.
I cut the flashlight on. There's my cousin sitting on that stool. I know she couldn't get up because I had to help her up when we left out of that room. My other cousin sitting on the day bed, she was over there fumbling around with the camera or whatever it was she had to get out of her bag. So I just shined a flashlight down in the floor around where my legs at. There was nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first paranormal investigation experience.
Right.
And that was creepy.
Well, yeah, I mean, anytime anybody who's ever, had their first investigation and actually got something, significant like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the kind of stuff that sticks with you.
Yeah.
I had one just before I met Tom. My wife and I were staying at a buddy of mine's house, and my buddy grabbed his 2 kids, and he went off somewhere for the weekend. So it was just me and my wife. And we were staying in the basement at the time. And she was telling me every once in a while, I would see somebody standing at the stairs in front of the glass, between the stairs and the sliding door that goes out. Yeah. And I would always see somebody up there. And I would hear some noises. And, already at this point, I kind of had some ideas of what would happen. I said, well, okay, we're in Minnesota. It's wintertime. Chances are some of the noises you're hearing is when you turn off the hot water, the pipe bang on the wall because of the thermal difference, the temperature difference. Yeah. And sure enough, she comes out of the shower, and 3 minutes later, I hear, a faint banging on the wall. And I'm like, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is because of the shower. And as soon as I said that, boom, there was a loud thud from upstairs and about 5 thuds. It sounds like somebody running down the hall. And my wife and I, we just looked at each other because there's nobody in the house except us. And I ran upstairs. I looked in the kitchen. I looked in the living room. I looked in all the bedroom, the bathroom. And in Minnesota, when it gets really cold, we put a plastic sheet over our window to keep the draft out. Yeah. Not a single one was disturbed. To this day, I still cannot explain what that was. And the only way into the attic was to take all the stuff out of the closet in the master bedroom, pull out the shelf to be able to open that door. Yeah. That thud and the footstep was all I heard, and then cricket. Complete silence.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy because when we went to the clinic again, a lot of our stuff happened at the clinic. And this one we had to carry my dad out. We had to carry him out twice out of that place just so he can get some fresh air and just to recuperate.
Right.
When he was sat down in that rocking chair, the spirits didn't want him to sit there. So they messed with him. And he started rocking, and I hollered at him. I said, "Hey, will you quit rocking?" And never would answer me. He got louder. And we all shined a flashlight over there at him. He was actually there asleep And when we finally got him come to, his eyes wasn't his eyes.
That's not unheard of. I mean,
And
I've heard stories of people that do that.
and he actually lost 15 to 20 minutes of his memory.
Mm.
And we had to rush him down outside. And this last time that he got messed up again in there, same room, same area, something that told him to get up and follow him. He got up and started following them. And the guy in my group named Rick at the time, he bear hugged my daddy and carried him down the stairs and took him outside because something there messed with him again.
Right. Well, Tom and I, we've had our own problem with time displacement.
Yeah.
If I could put a word on it. We were at Carlos Avery and we were driving down this road. Now, keep in mind, we've been investigating this place for a couple of years at this point. And we're driving down this road that we've always driven. And I can't remember what night it was, but we passed this one spot that we had investigated before, driving, and all of a sudden we had come to an exit. We have no idea where the rest of the road went. And this exit was far enough away to where it should have been like a 10-minute drive.
Okay.
But it was like the next intersection up, only a half a block away. Is what it felt like to me. So, yeah, I can't explain that.
Yeah, that's. I remember when I first met you, first time you was on my show. You remember that light behind you was going on and off?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Me and Lisa was on here, and you was talking, and I think both of us was looking like this, like what?
Yeah. Even my wife came out and stuck her head around the corner, like, "The hell is this?"
I remember that. That was so cool. I thought, and I
Yeah,
wasn't really paying attention. I was like,
yeah, I unplugged the light after that. Never plugged it back in.
oh,
But this apartment, it's got stories.
yeah,
And I remember when we first got in here, a little while later, my wife would tell me, sometimes I see shadows. And of course, me being a smart ass, of course you see me. I'm right here. She said, no, smart ass. I'm talking about like shadow figures. So, come to find out, her sister, who at the time lived across the hall from us, she was seeing shadow figures. A couple months later, I talked to our next door neighbor, Alice, sweetest old lady with a mouth that'll make a sailor blush.
yeah.
Oh, she'll outcuss me.
Oh,
I mean, we're talking like 4 foot nothing, maybe 70 pounds soaking wet.
yeah.
Sweet little old grandma. I mean, I love her. But I talked to her and she's like, "Oh yeah, we see shadow figures around here all the time. Everybody sees them." And I was like, "Get the fuck out of here!" So then I find out a little later on, one of our neighbors lived in a corner building, in a corner apartment, by herself. She was picked up in an ambulance in a body bag.
Mm.
Come to find out, she was telling her son that somebody was watching her, that her phones were bugged, that there was something wrong with the apartment. And I mean, she was slowly going insane, literally insane, to the point where, and I don't mean this in any disrespectful way, but she had defecated on herself. Her mind was so far gone, she had lost a lot of control.
Yeah.
Didn't really think anything of it. 3 months later, some guy moved in. We all talked to him. We all met him, Seemed like a level guy. But 2 months after that, he was telling people, somebody's watching me. My phones are bugged. There's something wrong with my apartment. And he ended up getting locked up in the psych ward.
Oh, really?
So now, and I'm trying to wait till I get, a couple of people down here. My sister-in-law lived in that apartment. So because she's there, I actually now have the opportunity to try to investigate. But I need to, like I said, I need to get a couple more people down here because I'm not going to do it by myself.
Yeah.
And I also want to make sure that they can like get a hotel for a night. But yeah, I don't know. That's two people going on about the same thing, and both of them going crazy. I mean,
yeah. That's
what are you doing in October, Jonathan?
well, towards the end of the month, I'll be on my trip. Man, I'm telling you what, though, that is kind of crazy how that turned out, though, because two different people they didn't know each other, and the same thing happened.
Yeah,
and they can tell you the same story. That's pretty wild.
Yeah,
pretty wild. That's there.
mm-hmm.
So we're pushing on 10 o'clock here. So
No problem.
I probably will go about 15 minutes more longer. If anybody got any questions for our guest here tonight, you can ask him, long it is respectful and appropriate.
And don't worry, I'm not easily offended. I am not afraid to answer questions, no matter how. Well, some questions you'll have to ask my wife about.
So, because we ain't gonna be on here much longer, I gotta get in bed, get things ready for bed and stuff like that. But I'm hoping to get to go see my dad tomorrow. I didn't get to see him all weekend, so it's kind of eating at me a little bit.
How's he doing? I mean, last time I heard anything about you and your dad, he was sick for a while.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good. He spent about a week and a half in the hospital about 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
And I had to rush him back home from Virginia to Mount Airy Hospital. We was all the way in Roanoke, Virginia, so we was about 2.5 hours away, and I rushed him back here to put him in the hospital, and something happened. I don't know. That leads to a story after I tell you this, but he actually done pretty good. I don't know what it was. All I know, when I was driving back, I was beating him. I was poking him. I was punching him. I was hollering at him. I was crying and screaming all at the same time. Coming down the road, I don't know what it was. If he hadn't had his seatbelt on, he probably would have fell on the floorboard. He was gone. I mean, he was literally gone. And I don't know, till this day, I don't know what happened. All I know, I got him to the hospital. I couldn't talk to the doctors. Of course, I was bawling and crying and screaming and hollering and all that stuff. And I didn't even get to talk to the doctors. And so he's doing
pretty. Do they have any theories about what it might have been?
All I know, he did find out he was a diabetic and stuff like that. But I don't think that's what caused it. I think something else caused it. His legs started swelling up. And what got me bringing him home, we was in our hotel room, and he tried to get up on the bed, and he couldn't get his legs up on the bed. It's like lifting 5-gallon buckets.
Well, I mean, yeah, that is a diabetic issue.
Yeah, he had a lot of fluid. I mean, he couldn't even walk. And I was talking to Matt that night when I was getting him ready to get back into the truck so we can come home. And it was really bad. Like I said, I was poking him, I was punching him, I was screaming, hollering at him, shaking him. If the door was open, I would probably pushed him out the door. I mean, that's how hard I was trying to get his attention, but he just leaned over like this.
Yeah.
Man. And it was pretty bad. And so when I finally got him back and got him to the hospital, and they just took him right in. I went up to the side of the hospital where the ambulance goes and let people out.
Yeah.
I went up there, and they got out of the truck and put him in a wheelchair and took him on inside. And they started working with him right away. They didn't hesitate, didn't even ask me for his name, his address where they can send a bill or nothing. They just took them right on back
Right.
and everything. So thank God that he is really doing better now.
Yeah.
And and like I said, he's been wide open since then. Every time I say let's go investigate, he's gone. And he wants to try to do everything with me as possible and everything.
Right.
But another app that I was going to tell you about, I believe in 100%. I don't believe in the apps that much, but this app is called Ghost Box. No, Phasma
Echo
Box.
box?
Phasma Box.
But okay.
It's a new app. It costs $40 to use, and I'm going to tell you what, that thing is more accurate than accurate can be. I mean, this thing. We was sitting there in this. We was doing a private location in Virginia right before my dad got sick.
Right.
He was sitting on the couch with my aunt, which is his baby sister, and my cousin was sitting beside my aunt. They had that app going. Said we called my dad. His nickname is Pete. He said, "Watch him." Then it gave his name. That night, I had to rush him to the hospital.
I have to look into that and do some research on it.
That app is really good, and that changed my point of view about the apps that you actually work.
Yeah, I mean, you still have to be careful. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of them that will try to dupe people into thinking that they're legit.
Yeah,
But that's just because they know 98% of the people barely have an understanding as to what's inside their cell phone.
yeah.
So,
But see, this is not on the cell phone. You have to have a tablet to run it to have more gigabytes,
Yeah.
gigawatts, whatever you want to call it. It has to have,
GPU, yeah.
it has to have a lot of that, and cell phones don't have that much to run this out
Right.
and everything. Hey, Miss Frosty, appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much. But like I said, though, I don't believe in a lot of the apps, but that there I give about 100%. And plus, it told one of my members to shut up. Everything's been taken care of. Vicky remembers that. We was in the Peggy's house. My cousin was using that, and it literally told one of my team members to shut up. Yeah, and it gave us the physical address of that house, but there hadn't been nobody lived there ever since the 50s, early 50s. It's a rundown house. And my cousin looked it up on the other tablet that we had, and it gave us pinpoint right where we were sitting at.
That's why I say I'm 50-50, because I can't just discredit everything.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the other more important lessons I've learned as an investigator is don't believe everything, but don't discredit everything either.
Yeah.
Do your work, investigate, be thorough.
I don't normally use my apps. The only thing I use my phone for is to record everything, because I don't have an extra device to use the apps on my tablet back there. It came back over with my dad on the Mayflower, so it don't work that good.
Yeah, them wooden tablets were a real pain to deal with.
Yeah, that's in one my dad used to use when they had hammer and chisels to chisel things on rock.
Yeah. Well, some of those tablets back in the day, you could use a hammer. They were that lethal.
Yeah.
And that heavy, too. I mean, geez.
I tell my dad all the time, him and Fred Flintstone used to be neighbors. Well, I guess we're going to get off of here, bud, because I'm getting kind of restless. I got to get the clothes in the dryer and get ready for tomorrow. But So, is there any last thing you want to say to anybody that wants to start out as an investigator or try to?
Well, if you're going to do this, be ready for a lot of hard work if you want it done right.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do it, make sure you're doing it for you and nobody else.
Yeah.
Because if you try to do it for other people, you'll only find disappointment.
Yeah.
And just be smart and be safe about it.
Thank you, Auntie Mom. Appreciate you so much for being here, and I really do. Thank you so much for all you spare time you come see me and everything. And I appreciate you so much, and thank you.
For sure.
Like I said, everybody, please go check her out. If you want to, go check out that macaroni and cheese video she did, and you'll be heading to Charlotte, North Carolina.
I'm a fan of either Buff Mac or smoked Gouda Mac.
Yeah.
I tried smoked Gouda Mac one time, and yeah, let's just say losing weight is not an easy goal for me.
And I bring it every day. I enjoy watching her show. I just don't get a chance to go in there a lot because I got to work. But anybody wants to, like I said, there you go. Miss Frosty did that. Just type in C.O.P.S and your name, your link will fall down there for you. I'll give you about another 5-10 more minutes if anybody wants to drop their link. So I appreciate you coming in, buddy, and thank you so much. I appreciate enjoy your company.
Always fun.
I want to get you and Neil on here and talk about some of your investigations y'all did together. Some that
you don't like your show, do you?
Huh?
You get me and Neil on, now you're asking for trouble.
I just wanted to talk to you, or I ain't never had y'all together yet. One of y'all or the other one.
Yeah.
We got you together, so get both y'all together would be that'd be a pistol in the hoot.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Jonathan, I've found Auntie Mama's channel through you. Yeah. She, like I said, though, she is amazing person. And before you know it, I will be going down there and also trying to do a video with her. She don't live about an hour and a half away from me, a little over. So I'm going to be doing a video with her one of these days.
Learn how to burn yourself?
Yeah. Yeah. She's going to teach me how to cook macaroni and cheese, her style. So, thank y'all so much. Thank y'all for being here, and I appreciate it. And I do want to say thanks to everybody for coming in and chilling out with me. Darcy said, I'm back. Appreciate you coming back. We're getting ready to sling out of here. She's a delightful person and always makes me smile. She does. She'll make a dead man grin. So, like I said, though, thank you so much, and I appreciate you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night and everything. And let's see here. Let me find my goodbye video. This is thanks to all of my members of the channel. That is my pops dancing for y'all. So, everybody, thank y'all so much. Thank you, Mr. Shadow, and I really appreciate you so much. And it's an honor to have you, and it'll be an honor if you ever come back again. And
anytime.
And I thank y'all so much. See y'all.